The before and after pictures are stunning. A medication mistake caused Kalia Shaw's skin to literally melt off. 11 Alive investigator Andy Parati found prescription errors happen all too often, and the problem is getting worse. We want to warn you, some of the images you are about to see are disturbing.
I've never lost anybody close to me.
Kalia Shaw scrolls through pictures of someone she'll never see again. A healthy young woman fresh out of college, eager to take on the world.
And I didn't get the chance to say goodbye.
It's a story she's familiar with because it's her own.
So that's pretty much the end of that.
3 years ago, the Snellville resident went to a doctor's office because she felt depressed. She received a prescription for lamotrigine, but according to a lawsuit filed on her behalf, it claims not only did Shaw receive the wrong dosage, the pharmacy didn't catch it. The result, a rare disorder called Stevens-Johnson syndrome.
I was in excruciating pain. It felt like I was literally on fire. And essentially, it ends up causing your body to burn from the inside out, and you pretty much just melt.
It sounds horrible.
It's very horrible.
This syndrome impacts the eyes, too. Shaw often wears sunglasses because she's sensitive to bright light, even indoors during our interview. She's also slowly losing her vision.
This didn't have to happen. This was not some just fluke, in my opinion. So this happened as a direct result of somebody's error.
An 11 Alive investigation discovered medication errors are on the rise. According to the Food and Drug Administration, errors jumped from 16,000 in 2010 to more than 93,000 last year, a 400% increase.
The FDA says the spike is the result of improving its reporting system and people filling more prescriptions than ever. But some believe there's something Georgia and other states aren't doing that could reduce errors.
We could do a lot better job.
Dr. Matt Perry is a pharmacy professor at the University of Georgia.
When pharmacists get busier or pressure gets placed on the pharmacist, it makes it harder for them to do their job accurately.
Bad things could happen.
Bad things can happen.
To reduce errors, some states have tried to limit the number of prescriptions a pharmacist can fill to about 150 per shift. Georgia has no limits, but Dr. Perry says there could be a benefit in doing so.
The idea of setting limits is unappealing from a business perspective, but from a patient safety perspective, it would be a good thing if we had a general idea of where those limits were.
Jeff Lurie with the Georgia Pharmacy Association disagrees.
Patients come into the pharmacy at different times when they need to get medications filled, and to put a restriction on that, I'm not so sure that's in the best interest of our patients. I'm just not convinced that that cuts down on med errors.
They're telling me this could happen again, and they're telling me that if it did happen again, that it would be worse.
A rising number of mistakes impacting patients.
It completely obliterated my life.
One of them reminded each time she sees her reflection.
It feels like I lost someone really close to me.
You can really feel her pain, Andy. So what can people do to make sure when they're going into the pharmacist, into the doctor's office, that they're not getting the wrong dose of meds?
This is all about patient counseling. Under Georgia law, if you go to a pharmacist and you pick up a new prescription, you're required, that pharmacist is required to ask you, not a pharmacy tech, but a pharmacist is supposed to come to you and ask you if you have any questions.
How about medical bills? She must be facing a staggering amount, in the millions, I would guess.
It's going to be a lot of money, and it's currently under litigation. They're going through depositions, but she has undergone lots of treatments over the past few years, so it's likely going to be a lot of money.
Millions of dollars so far?
Likely.
Likely. Any red flags here when she was getting this medication that we can all learn from?
The dosage was incorrect. According to the lawsuit, she not only blames the doctor for prescribing the wrong dosage, but the pharmacist should have caught it. 100 milligrams. It got
100 milligrams.
At one point. So there should have been red flags. Obviously, if you're a patient, you don't know a lot of this stuff. They rely on the pharmacist. And in this case, she claims they failed her.
And the drugs that could cause Stevens-Johnson syndrome?
It's surprising, but it's a lot of drugs, antibiotics, penicillin, a lot of things that we already take. If prescribed and used incorrectly, you can get this syndrome from these type of drugs.
Something we take for granted, really, just filling prescriptions and assuming that it's going to be correct. There are no guarantees.
You're right. She's the poster child of what can happen and what can happen when it goes wrong.
And we will not forget her face.